Good day, students. Nice to have all of you back. My name is Einstein Pillai Sankaran. I have prepared this lesson specifically for IGCSE Coordinated Science 0654. Today, I'm going to discuss and learn together for Chapter 11, Air and Water. And this is our first lesson. So let me show you what we are going to learn today. Okay, so this is lesson 1. It's about water. So our focus is two things. Describe the chemical test for water using cobalt 2 chloride and copper 2 sulfate. Describe in outline the treatment of the water supply in terms of filtration and chlorination. So these are the two focus for today's topic. So my top 3 questions that I like you to answer before we begin the lesson is how to test presence of water, how filtration is used in treatment of water, why chlorination is important. I want to give you about 1 minute. Try to think the answers for this question. You also can answer this and write your comment at the below. Okay. Now, with this in mind, let us begin our topic today. First, there are many tests that we can do to identify presence of water. According to our syllabus 0654, these are the two components that we used. We use cobalt 2 chloride. Cobalt 2 chloride come in the form of paper today. It also can become in the form of powder, but as you can see in this picture here, this is an example, a paper made from cobalt 2 chloride on the top. So it is blue in color and is usually known as blue anhydrous cobalt 2 chloride. So anhydrous means without presence of water, no water. Okay, so when you put a drop of water, as you can see here in this picture, this blue paper turn into white color. Now, if you use a powder blue cobalt chloride, it also will become white. Okay, so this is our first test. Another test, according to our syllabus, is copper 2 sulfate. So for copper 2 sulfate, we only have in the form of powder. We don't have paper copper 2 sulfate. So copper 2 sulfate is a white color powder. So as you can see in the second picture here, it's a white color powder. The moment you put a drop of water or any chemical that contains H2O, it will change, become blue. Okay, so if you put a lot of water, the whole copper powder will change, become blue, and then a blue crystal. So if you like to return it back to the condition of the white powder, you just have to heat up. Okay, so it's a reversible process. Okay, for this powder. So take note about these two things. Now, beside these two, as I said earlier, there is also many tests we can use for the presence of water. Some of you might think about checking the temperature of melting point and boiling point. That is correct as well. Okay, next one. So today, the water that we used in our home go through a few different steps. It's a whole process called water treatment system that they use many different steps to remove all the dirt in the water or to remove unwanted material, even bacteria, microorganism, until it could be a potable water that we use as our drinking water today. But for our syllabus, we're just going to talk very little about example of filtration. So the example of filtration that we use in the water treatment today is a sand filter. So as you can see, they have different type of sand. Usually start with the fine sand to the coarse sand, and finally, bottom here we have gravel. So when we put the water will pass through all this portal. As they pass through all this portal, all the dirts will get stuck. And finally, you're gonna have a clear water down here for the distribution. Now, this is a sand filter. Of course, today we have other filtration systems that we use for our drinking water privately at our home. For example, reverse osmosis process, RO. So I'm just giving you an idea about filtration. There could be many other different form of filtration, but this is a very simple. It's known as a sand filter. You can even make it at your home. Okay. The next question is now about chlorination. Okay. Some of you have heard about chlorination. Okay. Why we do that? So the water is sterilized to kill all the microbes. So all the sterilizing agent could be ozone, O3, UV light, or known as ultraviolet light, or even chlorine. So among these three things, chlorine is the most economical and usually used in most of the water treatment today in the whole world. So chlorine can be introduced to the water in the form of chlorine gas. Okay, this chlorine gas will dissolve inside the water, a small percentage, and this chlorine, of course, will turn into a very light or very weak hydrochloric acid or hydrochloric acid, and they kill microorganisms. Okay, but it does not affect other organism, even human, when we take a chlorinated water, because chlorine remove microorganism and this bacteria, which is harmful for us. Now, after you have the clean water, the last question today, why it is important to have a good and clean water? Firstly, it's for the drinking purposes. So as a human, we need to drink clean water. Second, in industries, livestock for the farm, for the animal, and the agriculture as well for the aquatic animals that live on the ocean. So all this water need to be treated carefully. So that is for today's topic. So today's topic is very short because I only wanted to share with you for the first part. It's only about the water for chapter 11, air and water. I hope to see you in our second lesson. That's all for today. Bye-bye.